So he doesn't want to basically, face again someone. We had already had Deepak touching it, Binod touching the same point, saying that no, they want to face the situation. Yes, Madhur, you also wanted to go.
Yeah, hi. The thing is that ostrich is a very fast running bird, right? He has the capacity, but he's chose to stick his head inside the sand.
Okay, so that's Madhur's answer comes very, very close to what I was celebrating on, and what I thought would be probably the kind of thought which would come into many like-minded individuals when I put this clip on the screen. Santosh, you also wanted to go. I think we'll close it with Santosh and we'll go into the discussion.
Yeah, just I want to say that if I don't know anything about this bird or what he's doing, so what I feel that he is looking for something which is not being visible for others.
Yes.
That is what it's coming in my mind.
Super. I think so many thoughts. We all think differently, right? The idea behind a picture like this is we all have heard of something called a headless chicken, right? What happens if it is a headless ostrich? Right. So someone has already touched upon this. I think Santosh spoke about ostrich being very fast. Or Madhur, I really don't remember if it's Madhur or Santosh. I think Madhur it was, right? Ostrich was, ostrich being very fast, and an ostrich being, basically one of the most strongest of the birds around. But what happens if an ostrich is headless? Right. I can understand a chicken is headless, runs around all the places. Chicken actually did not have much to do in the first place. It was always going to be cut. And the ostrich had so much to do. He's one of the most strongest and most powerful of the birds around, and with so much of abilities to itself, right? But it chose either to close its head into its legs or not to have a head at all, right? So what does it depict? It depicts in simple terms that you have skill sets which are within you, which are there, which are already inbuilt. But have you identified it? Have you really seen? Have you noticed that there are certain skill sets which I am good at? Leadership is not about managing. That is a manager's job. Don't get up in the morning and tell that, no, I have to do this work, that work, this work, write down and say, I will call this guy. You will keep on doing this throughout your life. You will still be a manager throughout your life. A leader actually does much, much more than that. When you go into the next slides, I'll actually touch upon that point of it. What actually is the myth we want to break about leadership? Yeah. Point one. Leadership is not doing things better, but managing people who do things better. How many of you say that no, that cannot be the reason why leadership has got a myth in there? Leadership was never about managing those things better, right? It was always about managing people who do the things better. That is the exact reason, if you see, many of the leaders have very, very strong aides around them. Take any of those leaders, any of those people who we have worked with who are successful, or take any of the leaders of today. You would always look at our Prime Minister as a classic example and say he's a very efficient person. We all know that he is a very punctual, very, very disciplined person. We know everything about him, but he has got very, very strong aides around him and he knows how to manage them. So that's one of the basic nature we should start learning and understanding, that don't ever feel that I need to do that work and finish it on time and give it. I understand the technical people around me would already be saying that, okay, but who does my programming? Who does my technical bit? Who does this? I have to do it. That is right. But when you go up the ladder, when you go up the ladder, there are people you have to identify for the job. There are people who would do it better than you. So I don't know how many of you know of this matryoshka doll concept. If you follow Russian culture, there's something called a matryoshka doll. I don't know how many of you have followed those this cultural traits. The concept of a matryoshka doll is basically about various size dolls which are kept in most of the galleries, in houses, on shelves. David Ogilvy is one of the greatest advertisers of all times, if all of us know, right? Ogilvy and Mather, O&M, which is called. So he was one of the advertising gurus, the Piyush Pandey of India, what it was, right? And he used to keep the same Matryoshka doll on his shelf. And this query was asked by one journalist once, why do you keep this on your shelf? And the answer was very clear and crisp, saying that I always would love to hire people who are bigger and better than me. Bigger and better than me. Because if I do it the other way, I look at these dolls, the bigger size doll first, then the smaller, the small. The other way around, I will build a company of dwarfs. And if I go from smaller to bigger, I will build a company of giants. So the answer is there for you. Even leaders, for that matter, need to hire better people, need to manage those better people. I know there are a lot of political constraints to this. When you manage better people, you always say that you might get better than me. What do I do then, right? That is the challenge which everybody feels, that if my subordinate starts working better than me, what do I do then? So that is something which leaders should forget about. This is one of the myths we want to break in this conversation, that we should be managing people, not we should be managing the things. So at the same time, those people who can do those things better, please hire, please use them. Myth one, yeah. Second, leadership is not about title, but it is a character which defines it. How many of you would say no to this? It's a very open statement on this, right? It is not about the title. We are not leaders who are basically an assistant vice president or a vice president or a president or a CEO. They are not the leaders per se. There might be a person in the cadre of a manager or a senior manager who will draw crowds better than them. Though you would have seen those kind of people in your organization who draw better crowds. They are the people who actually are leaders without a title. Somebody here interested in reading Robin Sharma? Anyone reads Robin Sharma? I don't know how many of you read Robin Sharma. There is a book called Leader Without a Title. Yeah, so Himanshu is writing that Jack Ma, he has suggested the same theory in different terms. Managing smart people is not easy. Making them work together takes true leadership potential. Very true, right? It is not, and now it's about the mindset, not the designation. Himanshu is very, very right. It's not about the mindset, right? It's not never been the mindset. It's not about the designation. I'm so sorry about it. It's about the mindset. It's always been about the mindset. Leaders were not. It is for us to understand that leaders were not at all given titles. Leaders are people who basically draw more people towards them. So do you want to become a leader? So then understand that it is not the title that is important for you. You should develop a character and a mindset to become a leader. That is something as a myth we will look at, and we'll try and get into further discussions on. Now, this is something which we all face. We have all seen this, right? I am not endowed, and hence forget it. Please understand. For all those who are in this forum, we never have all the answers. None of the leaders ever had all the answers. Don't try and find all the answers. You'll never have. The smartest way is to have people who can give you all the answers. I don't know how many of you followed Henry Ford, right? Henry Ford was once famously asked, you are only educated so much, and don't you feel like studying more, right? So, and his answer was very crisp and clear. He said, at my level, I should not be studying more, but I should be hiring people who have studied more. So the answer was very clear. So those are the leaders who are probably understanding exactly how these businesses are built on. So we should never have all the answers. If you have all the answers, there are bigger risks to this. I will touch upon that point also. Never have all the answers. You should have answers which make a difference to the company. Yeah. Leaders avoid conflict. We always have seen an organization in our work also. There are a lot of conflicts which we basically, have come across, and we feel that no, we should not get into conflicts because we should get away and stay away from conflicts, right? I've seen so many examples in my work life wherein we have seen that people are jealous of a certain person, or people don't want that person to come up, or people feel that no, this person is trespassing into my area, is working in my field. So should we have conflicts? Should we have conflicts? I mean, as a leader, should we entertain conflicts? Any answers? What should be our leaders look out? Should we stay away from conflicts?
I don't think so. I believe that a leader should be ready to face the conflicts and try to resolve it.
You should be ready to face conflicts and resolve it. So there are different approaches to conflict resolution, which Ankit has now rightly pointed out. And we have Rahul also, who has a point to make. Rahul. Rahul, you wanted to make a point here?
Yeah. Hello.
Go ahead, Rahul. Should you indulge in conflict management? Oh, I think we have got a problem with Rahul's network. I think Animesh wants to go. Animesh, you can go.
I think conflicts are part of an organization where there are many cross-functional departments. So conflicts would naturally arise, and I believe they will only bring out better solutions. So I believe that leaders should be ready to face any kind of conflicts and how to resolve them.
Super. So, Asif, I'm not coming to you again because I think the way we are going, we will be having a paucity of time. So I would jump on to the next piece and we will discuss more of it when we come to the real detailed explanation of what I'm meaning here. So coming to the last two bits of it. How many of you have heard of the concept called time billionaires? Anyone on that? Okay, there is, if you guys can Google upon somebody called POMP, P-O-M-P, right? So you will see something about time billionaire, which you have spoken about. How many of us realize this fact that our value should be on the time we have left with us, not the money we have left with us? And there is a classic example, which I'll touch upon when we go into the detailed explanation of this myth. But understand this concept of time billionaire. We are going to break the myth of saying we should be money billionaires. I know everyone, Ankit already has a smirk on his face saying that, no, why women? It's like, no, we all need money, right? We need money. But ask a 90-year-old millionaire if he wants to lead a 30-year-old normal life, and he will give you the answer for it. So it's as simple as that. What is the value of time is something we all need to realize. The time you spend with your family, the 5 minutes you spend extra with your family has got sometimes more value than the 1 lakh rupee you would have earned in that 5 minute also. I'm telling as simple words, because that's something which we will realize with age, with time, with leadership you take up in organization, that there is a value of time also. When something is delivered on time, what happens then? What happens if you don't, right? So the time value of money is something which created time billionaires, and let's become time billionaires if we have to be real time leaders. And the last piece of what we want to break as a myth is this: leaders are usually from a particular function, not necessarily. I have seen from a food industry perspective, leaders don't come from a function. Leaders come from different walks of life. Or never ever feel that operations people never always are the best leaders. Never. I've seen it from my close-handed experience. Operations people does not always, right? I've seen people who are from finance making great leaders. I've seen people from quality being good leaders. I've seen people, technical people becoming good leaders. So never ever bracket yourself saying that I'm in this division, so I should not, and I will not become a great leader. So these are the myths we are going to break in this conversation. Anyone who wants to touch on anything, or you want me to go ahead, or you probably assimilate what I'm trying to say is that leaders need to have certain qualities, which we will take forth and discuss in this forum with a quick exercise while the time limitation is there and we don't want to spend more time on slides as this, right? So quickly going to the next one. If anyone wants to interrupt, yeah, Rahul, I know that you got dropped. You will get umpteen opportunities to discuss. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that you are the next to go in when you have a conversation next. And no, we need to move a little bit faster on this, or this goes very slow. Yeah. So I need to move on this. Sorry. Yeah. So the first piece we spoke about, leadership is not doing things better, but managing people who do things better, right? So never be in charge. You need not be in charge, but take care of the people who are in charge. Learn this mantra. Don't be in charge. Take care of the people who are in charge. Then you are the leader. That's where you should start thinking about, no, why I am a leader, because I don't take charge. I don't be in charge, but I take care of people in charge. That means you are one of the finest leaders around. I have so many examples to quote and give you, right? We should allow the people under us to prosper. And with time, we will also. There is a classic example of a guy who explained that he is very happy whenever his new employee, whenever the employees under him buys new cars. He feels they are prospering. And if they are prospering, that means people under him are really doing well. So that's what we should do as leaders. We should try and identify reasons and find out ways how our employees can prosper. It is akin to parenting, right? To an extent, it is similar to parenting. What is the difference between leadership and parenting? It is as simple as that. No, you take care of kids. You act as if you're a leader to the kids, saying that, now I know life. I will teach you what it is, how it is done. You might have been a worse kid in your life. That's a different story altogether. But then you act as if, no, I know all because of experience, right? There is a certain way of doing things. So that is what is akin to parenting. When I say that, manager to leader, the journey is where we will go upon. We don't want to be managers in life. This is why the session basically is harping upon more from the journey of being a manager to a leader, right? So who better than a classic example? This is a very debatable topic and I touch upon it. I know a lot of people will have a lot of, personal passion in here for talking about Dhonis and the Virats of the world. But I would say that, no, the Dhoni versus Virat juxtaposed, the comparison is the best comparison of them all. You dissect that, and you would understand what's leadership in different styles and different ways. Yeah, I think Rahul has come with a query, so I will definitely allow him to go. Yes, Rahul.
But the saying is, like to be a better leader, you have to be a better manager first. So it's the contradicting.
Absolutely. So I again touch upon the piece which I told. I never told that you have never to be a good manager. I told that you're already a good manager. Now you have to become a leader. You understand the point again, what I'm trying to say. I told that you're already a good manager. You just have to become a better leader. Now, when I say the managers, see, management is a part of your part when you become an assistant manager in a job, right? From that point itself, you're already been designated as a manager or managing resources. But when you go into a leadership role, what I'm trying to say is manager and a leader, there's no say which says that no, leaders cannot be good managers. Leaders can be good managers. But a manager to be a good leader is what we are touching upon. You understand my point, Rahul? Yeah, so what I'm trying to, so what I'm saying is a manager to a leader. That's the journey. Absolutely true. Leaders have to be good managers. Unless you're a good manager, how will you manage the people in your charge? First place, right? So that's the journey we are talking about. So let's be leaders in this journey. The Dhoni versus Virat dissection, I will leave it to you to do in your thought process and come out with opinions. Maybe in midst of this discussion, we can do quickly. In the question answer session, maybe we can park it for that also, because that's the 15 minutes we'll have more to discuss. If this query is to the entire forum, if you have to choose a leader between Dhoni and Virat, I'll take 3 or 4 answers on this in the QA session. Who would you choose and why? Why do you think Dhoni is a better leader? Why do you think Virat is a better leader? Who and which is your preferred style of leadership? It is an open query. It is open to debate. It has been open to debate recklessly throughout India, but we will do it in a much careful way today. We'll just quickly spend a little time on it and move ahead with that. Anuj, I think we should do it in the last 5 minutes of our discussion, the 15 minutes. Why I'm saying that is because otherwise you will not go through the entire slide bit of it. Yeah. So we'll do that 15 minutes. We have got ample time. We'll just spend time on that. Anuj, you will be the first one to go. Rahul has already taken his opportunity. So we'll do that. Right. Yeah. So I spoke about ID as an organization. I don't think I'm marketing ID. I'm just giving examples from my real-time experiences in ID. So it is only about, whenever the disclaimer is very clear, don't think of ID as a brand. I'm just giving you real-time industry experience on this. Yeah. So there's this story of Mr. PC Mustafa, who started ID Fresh Foods with a capital of 50,000 rupees and a 50 square feet space, grinding batter. And the story took wings. Today, the organization is 1,500 crore worth of organization, having its presence in 5 countries. We have having a tremendous growth in the last 3 COVID hit years with a 30% growth. So the leader is a person called Mustafa PC, who has been a class apart. He is one guy who runs the organization based on his brand name too. So yeah, so that is where leadership comes into play, right? He was, and let me tell you one thing which you will feel very, very odd when I say this. He's not a great orator. Huh? So don't think that the great orators has become great leaders. Never. It was all about managing the people who manage the business better. So that's what he did his entire life. He keeps on telling he was always good because the people under him were good. So that's one real-time example. I'm sure that many of you in your work also have seen this. Many of the companies you work with also have come up the same way. Take any Reliance to anything also have come up this way, right? So there are some leaders who made that what it is, right? So it is not necessary to be in the spotlight, right? MS Dhoni. Now you will feel when I say this that I am more inclined towards MS Dhoni. In my earlier question, no, I'm not. I love Virat Kohli more as a captain. Just to answer your doubts, I love Virat Kohli more. So I am more of an aggressive sort, and I don't like the MS Dhoni kind of Iceman kind of approach. So, but look at MS Dhoni as a leader and try to evaluate and say that no, he never wanted to win the spotlight, and he tries to stay away from the spotlight in most of the cases, right? That's the kind of leader which is very different, right? So it is not about the title he wants. He's not really, but it's character what he evolved as a person. Very cool, very nice. He is no on the field. He is in control. Yeah. Now, attitude and not altitude. So that's again the same statement which I put it in a different way, saying that no, it is about the mindset, as somebody had rightly told, written down in the chat also. It is about the attitude, not the height you have gone, right? And that's exactly where you know basically try to be a leader. That is, I see Himanshu has written, and here we go with conflict. Yeah, I already put a question for conflict management. Himanshu, that's true. We have already have something on Virat, and now you need to address that and manage that. Anyway, so like coming to that later. Tanhaji, Tanhaji is a person who fought for the Maratha, kingdom, and he basically laid down his life for the Maratha kingdom, and it was never his leadership that basically of being in the spotlight. He was a guy who basically worked on an attitude which was always for the kingdom, always for Shivaji. So that was the kind of basically attitude which takes you to great leadership. Even if you go to, I don't know, people who have gone to Maharashtra and Pune. You know Singhad Fort and all, right? So you can see the kind of the tribute given to Tanaji in Singhad and other places of wherever there is a Marathi kind of a congregation. You will see the kind of importance given to Tanaji because of his attitude there. Now, Murphy's Law. All of us are privy to Murphy's Law, right? We all know what is Murphy's Law. What basically Murphy's Law stands for. Anybody who wants to have a quick write up on the chat on Murphy's Law? If you want to Google, don't do it. I would rather prefer you to probably say no. That's okay. So we can just move ahead with what the discussion should be on Murphy's Law. I don't see a chat, but I believe that yeah, so anything that can go wrong, that's there it goes. Everyone has already come out with answer. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong, right? So जो भी होना है गलत वो हो ही जाएगा. You can't help it, right? उसको तो वैसे ही होना है. So that's Murphy's Law for you. So that means leaders should not, basically what I'm saying, leaders should not stop themselves from being communicative, because just because you think that no, if I communicate, what will happen, that conflict resolution thing and all, you should not think about that, because the Murphy's Law should come in and kick. It should say that no, you should talk and you should tell what you feel. What has to happen will happen. There is no doubt. Even if you don't do it, some point of time, this will happen. So that is Murphy's law for you. So try and keep it there, right? Empathize. We all need to empathize with the people under us, right? It is not the title. We have always told it's about the character, which is basically the leadership thing. Empathize, when I say it, is because I am what I am because you are. How many of us don't agree, right? We say that no, we have done this, we have done that, we have done this, but tell me very, very honestly, how many of us, and then how many of us innately, we know that now our juniors have contributed to the final project deliverance, or the team members have contributed to that. When Ankit and me, we did a project together at a thing, there were a lot of inputs which Ankit would have given that really helped me present a certain thing, or which I would have given, which made Ankit believe in a certain concept which we are speaking about, right? So it is all about I am because you are. If I am good because you are good. That is what the entire process is about. And that is what it's about, the character bit. And it's not in the title, right? So we'll stay to that bit there and go to the next quick one before I just break in for quick questions. As I said earlier, leaders do not have all the answers, right? We all don't have answers. We cannot have answers. But how on earth can a person have all the answers for everything, right? And don't try to be that person also. You will never be original. Be original. Be a leader of who is original. The best leaders are the ones coming up with questions, not answers. So can you ask more questions? Can you ask people like, why not? What happens? Who said? If this can be done, and this thought process can be brought into your brain, saying that don't give all the answers, ask questions. The more and the more and the more you ask, the more answers you will get. So you have people who can give you answers. That is leadership for you. Leadership is basically using the resources you have with us, right? And choose the best one out of it, right? You know, the Goldilocks principle. The Goldilocks principle, I'll just tell you briefly what the Goldilocks principle is. The Goldilocks principle is that if you tie a kid's eye and keep 3 bowls of porridge in front of her, porridge, soup, whatever it is, like of different temperatures, right? She will tie each one of them, but she will choose the one which suits her, right? Right. So it is as simple as that. What I'm trying to say here is that no, it is the Goldilocks principle in work. It says that no, you can always ask numerous questions, get a lot of information, but choose the one which suits you, right? If you give all the answers, it may not suit the organization. It may not suit everyone around you, right? If all the answers are with that leader is called the dictator, not the leader. If you all have to agree to the point that no, don't give all the answers. You can seek answers. Nothing wrong in seeking answers. Please ask questions. Please act negligent in certain cases. We also act ignorant. You also have to become a human being at certain times. Don't act as if you are a superhuman that are reserved for the Marvel comics. So we should be becoming normal human beings in certain nature, in certain cases. So don't always give all the answers, ask questions more than answers. Then you will get lots and lots of answers and your value addition to the organization increases. That's the Goldilocks principle also. That's where I will just break off for the second piece of my myth, which we were looking at breaking, and open up for any question which you would have on this before the bigger session opens up for question and answer. Anything which you want. Yeah, Himanshu again writes, people look up to leaders for answers when stuck at decisions, making crisis situation. In your opinion, what are some of the good ways, such as ask more questions, bring more people together to reflect true leadership? The answer is always there, Himanshu. We all are leaders by birth, right? We all know the answers, but not necessarily that should be the right answer is what I'm trying to say here. Answer and right answer are two different things, right? Answers can be numerous because our mental system is wired in a way to think in a certain way. We think this is the right process. We always think Virat is the right leader or Dhoni is the right leader. That is because you are biased towards a certain thing. I like gray better or I like blue better. But not necessarily the person across the table likes that. So It's always better when consumerism is around you, when you have to take the opinion of 1 billion Indians. You need to know how they behave, how they buy, how they take, how services are adopted. And you need to probably reflect upon these questions much more. So for me, if you are stuck at a decision, for me, I don't alone take decisions. I am telling you honestly, this is not the answer which I would always have. I will always consult. I will always consult. Yes, I will be driven by my own final decision, but that till I arrive at that decision, there will be a lot of consultation, there will be a lot of thought processes. But real-time leaders definitely don't become dictators. They don't decide on their own. If you say, I was always of the opinion that Dhoni was very, he had a gut feel, he always was a great leader. I'm just giving cricket examples much closer to Indians. That's why easier for me to say. And Dhoni is recently, if you see one of the Suresh Raina's interviews, and Suresh Raina is supposed to be one of the closest person to MS Dhoni, if you are aware. So he says that, no, you're all wrong. He says, you're all wrong that Dhoni doesn't consult anyone. And you're all wrong that Dhoni does not get angry also. Dhoni is only, the thing about Dhoni is he's very smart. He's street smart, he said. Whenever the camera is not panning on him, he will do all this, he says. And when the camera is on him, immediately he will look cool. So he knows exactly how the camera is working rather than anything else, he said. So he knows when the drinks break come, people don't normally go for the ad break. That time he will come and whisper in your ear, "Ko tere ko baad mein dekh lunga karke." So this is exactly what happens with Dhoni. So this is something which is very interesting to note, right? So you see what you see is not what it is. So seek answers, seek opinions. You don't become smaller by seeking opinions. You only become more intelligent by seeking opinions. That's the thing about leaders, which any leader you see around you would not have come up his own way just by his own principles and his own thoughts. He would have actually sought out a lot of opinions. And that's where it goes. Yeah. The Himanshu, I think we'll just move on quickly to the next one. I think I would have answered that bit for you. And we move to the next part of the myth which we are talking about, right?
Thank you.
Yes, Himanshu. And anything on the screen? You see there is a small video which I wanted to quickly play. But having said that, before that, I would want you to touch upon this conflict management. That there is a query which also came up on this. How do we manage conflicts, right? There are 5 ways as per Thomas Gilman to manage conflicts as leaders, right? As leaders, you can actually look at having 2 ways of a character. Again, keep your mind on Dhoni and Kohli and see how it is. Assertiveness on the left and on cooperativeness on the y-axis. So the x and the y-axis is, if you see, assertiveness and the cooperativeness. And what happens when there is a competing thing? How is the conflict managed? There is more of assertiveness from the person. When we are collaborating, what happens? My opinion, your opinion, both comes into play. Both of us agree. And we do that, right? Accommodating में क्या हो जाता है? My opinion does not count only. Your opinion counts. So I'm accommodating. So cooperativeness is maximum for me. Assertiveness is almost 0. Avoiding में यार कुछ भी करो यार भाड़ में जाओ आप लोग. मुझे ले रहा है मेरे से मुझे तंगी मत करो छोड़ दो. That is avoiding. And the mid path is compromising. So this is basically Thomas Gilman conflict methodology. If you Google it out, you will find out. This is basically what leaders should do when you're faced in a conflict, when you're faced in a situation where, how do you handle it? You need to figure out first is, where is this heading to? Yeah, when I say where is this heading to, is the decision which is, or the final thing which is outcome which is going to come out of it, does it really impact the business? If it does not impact, my query is this: if it does not have much of an impact on the business, which is the approach we will take on this conflict? Any chats on this? Quick ones. If the outcome does not impact the business, which approach of conflict management should you take? It's okay, anything. You want to just throw up a thought, avoid? Yes, competing. Collaborating. Avoiding. Okay, we'll cut this here. I think some of you got it right. you would take one which is closer to the bottom, the avoiding or the accommodating decisions, the approach to conflict management. Because it does not impact the business per se, right? Or it does not impact the final outcome of certain things. You would either avoid it or you will accommodate it. If it is a big impact on the business, you would definitely go for the collaboration or the competition or for the compromising. Simple. When you know the outcome is very, very important to the business, you will definitely have the top working more and the bottom working less. When you know it's not of much importance, you can either take the avoiding one or the accommodating one. That's simple as that. So this is what Thomas Gilman approach to conflict management talks about, which has been very, very inspirational for me because I tried using this in my work life and it works beautifully well. It works so beautifully well, right? I had a video. Let me see. I think this is one which all of us would have, seen for long, the Chakde thing. So I am not playing this. You know why I'm not playing this? Because this is something which every one of us has seen. It is very boring to repeat something, and also at the same time, just wanted to harp on this management of the situation by Kabir Khan. Yeah. He says, my name is Kabir Khan. I am the coach of the Indian national women's team, right? What kind of a approach he takes when the lady in question comes and has conflict with him? Which approach did he take then? Did he avoid?
Competing approach. It is competing.
So it was a competing approach. Absolutely right? He knew that this lady was going to be the black spot here. This is going to be the person. Yes, very good. Competing approach. He knew that if I don't put this person in place today, this will impact my bigger purpose of being here as the coach of the team. Correct. So that is the competing approach which he took there, and he had to put her in a place. And he was little aggressive on that. He's big time aggressive. He mentions very, very clearly, right? I'll just drag this a little bit if I can. And he says this. Chandigarh ki train mein baith ja. Sir, 7 minutes. Krishna. अब सब प्लेस सामने आएंगे. ट्रेन में बैठ जाए. Sorry. जगह नहीं. Everyone understand that? Okay, get up. Get up and do 10 rounds. तो ठीक 7 मिनट पर यहाँ पर रिपोर्ट कर. अगर ठीक 7 मिनट में पहुँच गई तो टीम में आ जाना. वरना चंडीगढ़ की ट्रेन में बैठ जाना. The statement was very clear. 7 मिनट में आप नहीं आ रहे हो तो आप चंडीगढ़ की ट्रेन में बैठ जाओ, चले जाओ. So that message is that I am the boss. The message is very clear. This situation demanded that he did that. Going to the next piece of the myth which we want to break on this. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. This is a very important piece of discussion which I wanted to touch upon. Money billionaires and time billionaires, right? So this concept, I was just chatting up with you guys and you told me you guys don't really know much about this. If someone knows, great. But understand this concept of time billionaires. Kya hai time billionaires? Why we speak about being time billionaires? The question is, are you ready today to swap your place with Jack Welch, who's 90 years old? Right? I'm just asking a hypothetical question. 90-year-old Jack Welch, who is one of the most richest person on the planet, are you ready to swap your 40-year-old life with his life and did you take it up? The answer has to be given yes or no. No. Animesh says no straight away. No. I just wanted to see if anyone has the guts to go yes on this. No, not at all. So why are you trying to become rich? Let me ask you this simple question then. By the time you finish up being rich, you might be 90 years or 80 years or 70 years, God knows. Yeah. So be time billionaires. Be time billionaires. Evaluate the time value of this money, what you want to do, right? Where do you do this transition? Where you do the transition is very important. Do you really want to become, see, that's where the difference about a manager and leader, I said. You can become the CEO of a company, you can still be a manager. You need not be a leader then also, right? Being a leader is a different concept altogether. We are talking of being somebody who's looked up to. who is aspire to be, right? That is a leader. That is the leadership for you. So do you want to become that kind of a leader? Yes, we want to become that kind of a leader. We don't want to make big money and become, basically rich. I'm not teaching you how to become millionaire in 1 hour after this session. This is not the session for that. This is to get probably used to the fact that leaders are made of different metal altogether, right? So we have to understand the time value of money. So we at ID also, we once came up with an ad proposition. I don't know, many of you would have seen this ad also, wherein doctor, mother and warrior thing, wherein she played the role of, the doctor, the corona doctor who was basically at job, and then the mother also and the warrior. So quickly, I'll just try to see if I can quickly do this. Yeah.
Mama! Hi!
How are you, my darling?
Okay, listen. You're not going to believe this. But we are fine! I'm fine. I'm fine. Hi, Mama!
Oh, my baby. How are you, my Raja?
We are fine. I'm fine. And you know what? Past 2 weeks, we haven't ordered any outside food.
What? Is everyone dieting?
Yeah, right, ma'am. What about you? Looking tired?
It's tough, darling. So many people need care. But I have a few. Okay, listen. I'll have to stay here longer. I don't think.
You're not coming home for the festival, no? It's okay, Ma. We'll celebrate when you return. Don't worry about us. Arey, Ma. We are fine. Promise. See?
Hi, Baba.
Hi.
Dada.
Shoot, man. Okay, see this.
Australia.
What?
The shape of your dosa.
Very clever. And guess what? We have chutney also, and your little hero is in charge of the grated coconut.
He's what?
Hey, hero. Hey, Baba, I told you we'll be okay. Only home cooking. So listen, you want to see what Pappu's making for lunch and for dinner?
What?
Ready?
So, for lunch, we have Malabar parota and paneer. For dinner, we have wheat parota, paneer and dahi.
Wow. I'm gone for 2 weeks.
To the warriors who keep us safe every day, thank you for your sacrifice and love.
So this was not an advertisement for IT. This was basically to tell you about the time value of money. Basically, what we are talking about here is also, so look at the value of money when you're in a situation wherein you cannot spend minutes with your family, right? And you're given millions also. It doesn't really work that way. So that's when I keep on harping on this point that, please evaluate time value of your money. Try to be time billionaires. Try and see whether you can be a little bit of a time billionaire here. Try to use this concept of time billionaire in your life and see whether you have how many minutes of life left in you. You don't know. Today you see 40, 42 people, they are just going up like, in smoke. So it is as important as that to be a leader of your own life also. So quickly to the next slide of it. We are talking about people being from a certain functional background for being leaders. No, as per recent study, operations was the most functional starting point for most of the Fortune 100 companies, CEOs. 25% began with an operational role, finance made 22%, engineering made 17%, sales marketing accounted for 13%. And fifth was accounting was fifth, and then sixth was law at 7%. Now, see, what we are trying to say here is that no function has got a role saying that we will become leaders, we will become certain position holders. Now, CEO is not also a leader here. I'm just trying to give you a parlance wherein you're also looking at a CEO as a person. If you look up to as a leader, he also has not come from a certain background, comes from varied backgrounds. So also, please understand, And also I appreciate the fact that we cannot be sitting idle saying, I am from a background which is technical, I cannot be a leader. No, every single person can be a leader, provided we follow certain aspects of leadership and imbibe them in our life. Not necessarily what all the myths which I presented here, which I can always share with you, but then also talking about certain other aspects of how do you organize yourself, how do you manage your employees, how do you empathize with them, how do you do time management, be time billionaires. Please let me tell you, this 1 hour which you spend with me might be worth no millions of dollars if you had spent with your family also. But provided that, no, if you can take away that, as I told you at the beginning of the entire thing, if you could be that 1% extra leader after the end of this session, that would have been my contribution to this bit. Going to the probably the kind of the concluding session. I have written a little bit of on procurement. So just I don't wanted to put my picture on here, but I had to take it down from LinkedIn. So on supply chain and procurement, which I do, I just quickly wanted to touch upon, basically certain aspects of supply chain, which you people need to understand as different people from different industries, different segments. You might want to know what basically goes around in procurement. Does it take much to be procurement experts? Do you really need to be doing much to understand what is procurement? There is a article which I wrote in LinkedIn, which you can Google me up and see. I'll give you the LinkedIn link also. Who bought my cheese? And there's another article called Make Hay in the Procurement Sun. So both these of this will give a brief idea of how procurement in various companies and industries are done. I have spoken about food manufacturing here, but it can be from various aspects. There are certain principles of procurement does not change. In my 2 decades of experience, I've seen does not change across. It will stay the same across, and it will still be the same, because having done procurement in and out, I can vouch for that, saying that no, certain principles like integrity, like speed, like discipline, like being on top of the market knowledge doesn't change anywhere. These are basics of procurement, will stay always, right? Don't we all buy at a point, right? You are buying my 1 hour, you are buying my thoughts, you are buying whatever I say. It is like buying, right? You sometimes buy what your wife says. I think most of the time we buy what our wife says, because we are scared at some point in time that no, we should, otherwise we don't get our next food, right? Next meal. So we buy most of it, not buy from the shop. I mean, buy whatever their opinion is also. Aap bolo, main sun leta hu kind of thought. So we buy a lot of things we buy in our life, tangible, intangible, right? So these things are something which we should also understand, that we are all procurement experts at some point in our life. Procurement is the job of actually sourcing something from a point and delivering it till the point of either manufacturing or delivering it till the end of till the consumer. So that is the supply chain part where procurement plays a role. So leadership in procurement is becoming a very, very, kind of a very, very important aspect of job of industry management nowadays. If you see, we are not getting procurement specialists who only indulge in procurement per se. So that's where we thought of, basically we internally have certain things like ID universities where, we are also, I am also spending time with people to develop procurement experts who can start thinking about, the ways how a procurement cycle should be ridden through, how buy, how do you plan hedging, how do you do the strategic buying, how do you plan in advance for a certain kind of a strategic buyout. All those things comes in procurement. So that's what basically what we do in procurement. You can have a look at it when basically go to the LinkedIn piece which I have. As I told, there is no certain function which basically comes out when it comes to becoming leaders. So the function which we are talking about here is also sales. There is a salesman also in every one of us, right? So certain points which we need to probably talk about, basically stay on in terms of understanding this is you always should have pride as a contributor. You're contributing at least 1 to 2 to 5% of the business, right? So you are there in terms of your contribution to the organization. So live that contribution. Respect from others, you should earn it. You cannot demand respect. How do you earn it? By being a leader at a certain point, you earn it. Product knowledge, know it. Everything you do, definitely understand. All the technical guys know what they're doing, and also the operational guys know what they're doing. So you should know what you are doing at that perspective. The body language has to be shown. It does not mean that no, you should be very aggressive, but at the same time, body language should be of confidence when you do it. And handling scenarios is also like, let's do it. I said, it's also about handling situations, handling conflicts, handling so many things around you. So there is a salesman in every single one of us. That's what my piece of it is. So I wanted to do a couple of exercises, but I think we have 15 minutes, which is left with us. And I would leave that to the last piece where, we will probably see if we want to do that because now it's 7:30 and Ankit, as per our discussion, 7:35. So we are 5 minutes late. So as per our discussion, we should be closing this by a Q&A. Just to, before we go into the question answer session, and if you need to do some bit of an exercise, we can quickly run through it. But having said that, this is my LinkedIn profile. You can always find me on Sandip Balakrishnan. ID Fresh Food Company is the name, and the phone number is also here. Anytime you feel like you want to touch upon for any of my this, I'll share the slides with Ankit so that you can take it up on this. So I have this very irritating habit of writing up articles on LinkedIn, and so I think sometimes I vent out my frustration on that, on procurement, and that's basically why you see some of these pictures. And it's not I want to show put up a face that I have a lot of things done. It's basically please do read about procurement on my articles, because I wanted to do more on procurement. This is one area which people will try to understand more, and procurement leaders are also leaders which are going to be probably the future of any organization, because procurement consists of 40% of the cost of any company on average. 40% of the cost, the buying of materials, the buying of other things in any organization, 40% of the cost of procurement, unless it's a service organization, because that cases most of man skills which we use. So manufacturing organizations, so 40%. So that's something which we have to all keep in mind when we discuss about this. Ankit, I throw the forum open for discussions. And if we don't have much of queries, we can definitely do a little bit of exercise, which can be quite interesting also. Or else it's up to you, Ankit. How do you want to do it? Thanks a lot for hearing me out, guys. I know it's been like one way all the way. But then this is the 10 minutes which I will take all the queries from you and wind up for you to enjoy your dinner with your family. Yeah.
I think we should be open up for the question and answers if anybody wishes to ask anything.
Vinay has a query. Vinay has raised his hand. Vinay, please shoot.
Very good evening, and thank you for this lovely session. I want to, regarding one slide which you showed, wherein there were different percentages for the CEO's position from different professions. So if I was just noting that if we do the linear regression, I think it will totally match with the number of people you have handled in your life, because normally operation people handle more people in their profession, and a law person, they will manage very few people in their departments. So I think it is very apt to say then that the more you will manage or the more you will inspire, I should not use word manage. I don't feel for leaders it is a good word, but the more you inspire, the more you are able to influence and align people towards a common goal. I think this experience over the lifetime will actually help you be a good leader. So that's what those stats shows.
And Vinay, okay, sorry, you have another query. Please go ahead.
And just a story I wanted to say regarding that time money thing. Once I asked somebody that how to be a better, not effective leader. So he shared his small journey that, see, I was working in India with big shots, CEOs of the companies. So I used to go office around 8 in the morning and used to come at 2 o'clock at night. And I did this for more than 2 years. And he said, I used to feel very proud. I'm a great leader. And then he was transferred to Taiwan to look after the Asia business. And he said that therein people used to come to office and sometimes they used to sleep over there. And in the morning used to do brush and go home then. Hardly take a 3 or 4 hours break. And he said, all my learning was shattered over there. I thought nobody can beat me, but yes, if you start comparing, if you start competing, somebody's going to break that thing. So he said, then I was transferred to USA. And what I found that people used to come only for 7 or 8 hours. They used to take totally break in the weekends, but they were handling business, which was double of the revenues, what we were handling in the Asia. So the ultimate thing he said was, see, it is all about management. It's about planning. So if you want to be an effective leader, plan well.
So true, no, Vinay, so true. Both your points, so true. I mean, that's something which no, all of us have learned in our experience. This is why this forum becomes so interesting when we discuss such a point. What Vinay said is absolutely on spot. One is that the number of people you handle in operations is much more. That's why operations people tend to be more bigger CEOs and better. So the experience of handling people has helped there. The experience of handling people rather than anything. The operations team is always bigger in any organization. Law में कितने लोग रहते हैं? 2 लोग, 3 लोग, hardly anything. So the chances of the chances is very less that he becomes something as a big as a leader he goes up the ladder also. That's something which is absolutely true. And the second part of it is the most interesting part. Look at the US philosophy, right? The US philosophy is supper at 6. So 6 बजे के बाद तो उनका खाना भी हो जाता है. Then they feel like then life is theirs. They don't even bother. So see, that's something which a lot of people have to still imbibe and understand that it is not hard work sometimes, but smart work which helps, right? Only just because you work for 12 hours. I know there was a viral video which came across in Facebook about a guy who really reprimands somebody who says, "Kya aaj half day kya?" He goes early and he says, "Kya aaj half day kya?" And that viral video, if all of us would have seen it, I am pretty sure. But so true, so true. There are so many of them. They feel that मैं रात तक यहाँ बैठता हूँ. That means that I am working a lot. मैं यहाँ पे रात को 1 बजे को मेल भेजता हूँ. That my boss will think that 1 बजे को अच्छा बंदा 1 बजे को. अरे आजकल मोबाइल से भी 1 बजे को कोई भी मेल भेज सकता है. Even I am sitting sometimes मुझे आज कुछ याद आ गया 1 बजे को मैं मेल भेज दिया. See that those days are gone. Those days are also gone. You cannot impress those ways. And also it's becoming much of a fad now that people who work shorter time and deliver better results are supposed to be better leaders. We have seen in our organizations, we have seen people who are very, very precise with the work, which time, kab se kab, kya can. Nobody calls you a lazy bum just because you go early. It's only if you don't deliver something, you become a lazy bum. So please understand that that's a truth of life, and Vinay has properly put it in both senses. Absolutely true, Vinay. I'll go over to Anuj. He has raised his hand. I think he has a point in here. Yeah.
So, I'll just take a second to just add to what the discussion was. I think the work culture here in India still is, if you're working for more hours, you're putting in more effort. I think we are still not at a stage where we look at working for the prescribed number of hours as your efficiency. So we still look at people who work extra 4 hours as being a hard worker rather than being inefficient, clearly. So this wasn't what I wanted to. So you've taken a great topic of leadership and you've broken down myths. I have a very typical question, and I want to hear your thoughts. Are leaders born, or are leaders born, or are they made? What's your personal take on this? Because it's one of the most common GD topics. I just like to have your thought around this.
100% leaders are made. For me, though, it has been always that way. I never think leaders are born. In that case, every single bit of Gandhi's family should have been a leader. Rahul Gandhi is still struggling, right? I think, yes. So I feel leaders are always made, never born. Leaders are never born in the sense that, yes, some people have innate abilities. That's where I said, no, you can always go manager, but becoming a leader is a journey still. It's not that anybody becomes a leader. I'll tell you a classic example of mine, which you will feel, you would have probably had a feeling of deja vu at some point. Deja vu is about, basically I have been there in that situation. In my 5th standard, when I was I was in school, I was told I was to participate in a extempore competition, and I had to go to a inter-school event, right? So none of the teachers accompanied. We were all going on our own, and we went to the event and all. That was the first time I was doing a public speech, right? And then I went in front of this. I didn't go there. I went and I was sitting in the classroom where the competition was going on, and there were people who came in. They were talking. They were going. They were coming. They were going. I was scared. I'm telling you, I was literally trembling in my knees, and I felt at that point in time that ki mere se ye nahi hone wala. I'm going. Maaf kar do mujhe. And I left that place. I came back home. I told my parents I did participate. I didn't get. I told my teacher also the same story. But that actually sparked off a thought in me, and that was a turning point, the tipping point, which you call it, right, in me. Therein I felt that was it that I was born this way, or was it that basically there is something in me, but I'm not using it. Uske baad, I'm telling you, I'm the most talkative person you would come around. I'm basically telling you ना, इतना ज़्यादा बात करना शुरू कर दिया. Extempore में participate करता था. Every recitation, elocution competition, name it. I used to win like crazy. This tipping point was the situation wherein I felt that no, क्यों मुझसे नहीं होगा? Right. Similarly, leaders का जो होता है, I don't think you are born into a leader's family doesn't necessarily make you a leader, or you are born as a leader, but he is a born leader. But it's not the statement, yeah. Nobody is a born leader. Nobody is a born leader. It's only for the statement. Everybody is born a normal human being. You become a leader in the due course. You have experiences which make you a leader. See, people who have faced death, close to death situations, they will say that no, usse aage kya ho sakta hai? They become so bold in life. People who have certain diseases, they say कि इससे आगे क्या हो सकता है? They become bold in life. It's experiences which harden them. Leaders are made out of experiences. That's why any leader for that matter, be it a Modi, be it a Rahul Gandhi, be it anybody who is of any prominence in India or outside, they would have been made only out of experience. So my take is always have been, will be that leaders are made, never born.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Anyone else who wants to have a quick takeaway? Time billionaire. That's nice, Animesh. Yeah. I think you should be right. We are all talking about being millionaires, billionaires. How many of you are time billionaires? Somebody ask your friends. Go and ask. आप time lapse कितना time है? मेरे पास इतना time है. छोड़ो. Then you're a time billionaire, yeah, boss. I might not have the car you have. I might not have the flat you have. I might not have the luxury you have, but I have so much of time than you. So haven't I a time billionaire? Nobody will have an answer to it. I'm sure they will not have an answer to it. Vinay, you again want to go? I think it's your raise.
I just have a query.
Yep.
Today, when we talk about leadership, one of the three criteria is empathy, active listening, and empathizing to inspire people. Now, few ways through which we can actually work on this empathy part. Some practical ways you can recommend.
Yes. See, I'll tell you what. I'll give you an example from my personal experience. I was never a person with a lot of empathy. To be very honest, I was not a person with empathy till I was probably in my initial phase of my career. I was a go-getter. मुझे नहीं कुछ लेना देना था कि बाकी लोगों को क्या हो रहा था. I'm telling you very, very honestly. Empathy also comes with an understanding of the fact that you cannot answer all questions. As I told you earlier, right? कभी भी समझ लो कि आप सारे आंसर्स नहीं दे सकते कभी लाइफ में. So you need to be considerate of the other person so that he gives the answers for you. If you have to be considerate of another person, I'm telling you, everybody is a human being, not a machine. So you want to know, there is no capsule which we can take and I say that no, कल से empathy आ जाएगा. कभी नहीं आता. It comes from your experiences, right? I have experienced people around me struggling for finances. I've seen people around me struggling for family compatibility issues. We see all those things. We tend to ignore some of them. Have you sat down with one of your person and said that ki nahi, issue kya hai, zara bata do. Can I help you on certain things? Not financially, maybe with a little bit of motivation. I have done personally with a couple of my team members. One of them was going through a tough time with his family. He was on the verge of a divorce. And he was not performing at office. He was having issues with, basically with his family, in the sense that no, he was having compatibility issues. I went to the extent of actually sitting down and speaking to him for a week or something on this topic and addressing every bit of it. How do you want to go with it? He wanted to go legal. He wanted to go a lot of things. Today, I'm so happy. They are very happily settled down again. And that's something which I would take a lot of pride in, because he keeps on attaching that importance to me, because he knows that no, I saved a family. No, I didn't save a family. It was always there. It was just because I was showing empathy. I told him, take a leave if you want to. I will manage. Take a day off. Go hometown. Baat karke time spend karo. Now, this is one way of practically imposing this kind of things around you. But having said that, it is not easy. You have to sometimes be, go out of your way to be empathetic towards people. The first thing which always, if I ask you a question, Vinay, the question is that, are people by nature good or bad?
By nature, I'll say everybody is good. Nobody do a bad thing intentionally. They feel it is the right thing. That's why they do it. But it may be a bad thing.
Absolutely. Everybody, every individual on this earth, they are good, right? By nature, everyone is good. Situations make them bad. Experiences make them bad. Reactions make them bad, right? So what can change that? Sometimes an individual's discussion with him, sometimes a very empathetic, chat with the person. What is the harm in actually spending 5-10 minutes? That's why I again touch upon one more topic of ours, that no, we should be time billionaires to do this. We should have time to do it. For that, you have to do effective time management. 5-10 minute change, you have to keep change जो हम use कर सकते किसी और के life में. So that is my formula for giving that solution to you कि आपके पास time का change रखो, पैसे का change मत रखो, time का change रखो, and use that time change to use for somebody else's betterment. I'm saying that everyone's problem is you don't have time. We don't stop over and tell a beggar that no, aisa mat karo, wo mat karo, ye mat karo, because we are rushing through life, right? Everyone is rushing through life. So the billionaires are the people who have time to do this. At the same time, they're earning decent for their family. So my answer is that I don't have any other solution per se saying that ye formula life.
I got a good take from this. We can join some community program.
Yeah, true, very true. That's very true. But then that you need to have time in it. You need to have a time.
Definitely after MBA, not right now.
Yeah, very true. Absolutely true. So I think we are almost reaching about around 7:51 now. We have spent a good deal of time. I would have probably gone on for another hour if Ankit would have given me, but then I'm sure that nobody wants to delay their dinner further. Or mere liye bhi, I'm very particular that you don't curse me for having delayed your dinner. You would have all come from office, sat through a session which you would have always thought that ki nahi ye banda kaun. Anyone who is good at volte-face? Just wanted to volte-face matlab kuch nahi. You know this, na? You have to say something in the affirmative that is positive about that, and then you have to say negative about that person. So I will wind up this session. I didn't have any other. I had a lot of exercises in mind. Time nahi raha. एक या दो बंदे volte-face करेंगे. Volte-face is simple. बस ऐसे I will tell you what I was like. I am talking about Ankit. Ankit is a very good person. Ankit I have known for life. He is such a nice person. He will be always available for you. And you should not pause, stammer, stir. कुछ नहीं करना चाहिए. Regular. You should go na very normal speed. Talk about that person. When I say change, immediately you say Ankit is a very bad person. You don't even know about Ankit. Ankit ki itne sare flaws hai. You will not even understand about Ankit. So what I will make you guys do, because I am a very, very self-critical person, I would want you to talk about the person who took the session today. Okay. The topic is the person who took the session today is a useful trainer. Okay. So you know what to say when it is change is a useless trainer. Okay. So who all would want to go on for this? Just one or two people and we'll wind up the session. It would be a very interesting end to the session. And also I would like to do some self-critical things which are not thought out generally. Aana chahiye dimag se. Who wants to do it? Anyone who wants to go? People who have been very, very silent here. What happened? A lot of people silent. You guys have not been even talking about Shrestha, Chirag, Abhishek. Yeah, you guys need to open up. Others and all have spoken up a lot. Saurabh, you have to also open up. And I saw a lady on the forum also, Ananya. You also are very, very silent. Ananya, you want to go on this? You can talk about me being a useless trainer and then start, or you start with a useful one here. Acha lagta hai sunne mein. And then you can move on to useless one. So I'll give you a start and then I'll give you a stop. When I say start, you go on 5-6 sentences. Jo bhi main change kara dunga, stop kar do. That will be an assessment of me as a person. Okay, Ananya, start.
The session given by Sandip was awesome. I like the way he talks in a very interactive manner. He makes it very engaging. He comes up with real life examples. The videos which he shared also were very... he should have contained his time. He should have done the time boxing properly. And sometimes he goes on in a rant. It goes on into becoming very long sentences. I wish he would cut them little short.
Change, बहुत बुरा लग रहा है, change.
I would like to say that one fact about Sandip which I found very interesting, that he has been a part of the program from IIM, and he has exposure from different parts of the country. So I feel that he is someone who is truly national in nature, and he does come with vast experience which he tried.
Thank you. I don't want to hear more trumpeting about myself. बहुत अच्छा लगा. And I would have taken...
I'm really sorry in case I offended you in any way.
Absolutely not. I told you. See, when I started this, I told you, I am the most self-critical person. I would only like to be a little bit better than what I was yesterday rather than anything else. Because if I don't do this critical bit about myself, no one else will do it. And I have a forum of geniuses here who can do this for me, and I'm actually using your resources for it. So it's simple as that. Now I'm hiring people who can do the work for me. So it's about leadership again. That's the trick about it. So having said that, wonderful session. Ankit, before no you take over, I would want to thank every single person on this forum. Very, very interactive. Especially, I've been like, no, I thought Ananya was all silent. She was very, very interactive. She did not use that opportunity. Vinay was on the charge always. So I think she never let up also. Anuj, Anuj, Rahul, Animesh, people who I spoke to, Anantosh, all of them were like so very, 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 very interactive. And Madhur also for that matter. Rest of them, I think that thing is also something about being intimidating, where they feel that no, yaar, इससे कुछ पूछूंगा तो ये और कुछ बोल देगा. I don't want to ask questions. But then people on the video, an extra thanks to you. People off the video, I appreciate the fact that you're at home, or you are basically busy in the kitchen, or you are busy tending to some of the household chores, which I cannot stop. And definitely very important, especially during COVID times. And I appreciate that you could spend some time on understanding. But if you could take one bit away from this, be a time billionaire, try and be a time billionaire, see whether it helps you. Yeah, it is something which we can probably add a lot of value in your life. Do you have that extra change of life, of money, rather of time in you rather than money, is something which I would request each one of you to do. And the leaders, yes, leaders, you're all meant to be leaders. When you be leaders, always keep this myths in your mind, saying that no, it's not from a function which comes in, and all the myths about what we spoke about, the Goldilocks principle, the Murphy's law, and the Thomas Skillman conflict management. All this has to come to your mind. I'll share this PPT with Ankit. He can share it with the entire team, and you guys can go at your own leisure and go through it. See, this was probably supposed to be a stress buster of a session, and a kickstart to probably more guest sessions. And I think I took half an hour more of stress busting, which I am really sorry about. Ankit, over to you, and thank you so much for inviting me here.
So before we conclude, there is a small vote of thanks from all of us. So on behalf of the entire PGDM batch and the MDI corporate committee, I would really sincerely like to thank you for taking out time out of your busy schedule and be here with us and addressing our batch here at MDI. And I know that, in fact, Ankit has already told you that you are our first guest speaker. So this is our inauguration of the Industry Talk series, which you are planning during the entire course. So thank you for that once again. And I'm sure that students must have thoroughly enjoyed the session. I know I did. And I would like to tell you that I personally believe that Saurav Ganguly was the best captain we ever had.
Never went to that topic, right? I mean, next time around when Ankit calls me, definitely would.
Sure. Yeah, I think we should have one more session, and quite soon again with you, because I think we have a lot more to catch up on and a lot more things to discuss maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it all open to you, because I think you have so many industry experts you would want to touch upon. Please take your own time and leisure in discussing all these things. Absolutely open to it. Yes, Deepak, sorry, I cut you.
So once again, many thanks for being here with us. We really appreciate your valuable and enriching insights and experience that you have shared. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thanks a lot, Deepak. Thanks everyone on the forum. This is really good. I would also take away a lot of good memories about Vinay's experience, about so many of those things which people have spoken about in this session. It's really nice to be with such a august gathering. I will definitely write about a lot about this session also on my LinkedIn handle. That's something which I keep on doing, because I believe those are memories which will stay with you for long. Yep, and when we are down Gurgaon, so definitely can catch up at some point. I don't think everyone is from that same place. You're all from different pockets of India, right? More or less.
Some of us are right now in campus, and some of them are there in their homes. So probably sometime sooner or later, we all will gather up in our campus. And hopefully, if you can come down here, you're always invited.
Ankit, हमें तो नोएडा भी करना है, तो it's much right. So we have to understand both your plan. Done, Ankit.
So one thing from my side, actually, we had a very long session today from 8:30 to 5:30. Even after this exhaustive day, we find this session very interactive and very refreshing.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your whatever your style is very energetic.
E is equal to MC squared, right? At the end of the thing, there is nothing else we left in life. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rahul. Thanks on that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandeep.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Good night.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much, Sandeep. Great session.
Bye.